Well, I don't know what happened. If it was too much energy and the system got overloaded, I had to reboot. But I still have it in my head. For heaven's sakes, I guess I'm not meant to do this. So I'm sitting here chowing on popcorn and a kernel gets stuck right here and it's like scratching my throat. I can't get it to go down. Anyway, so I have Henderson here. I have Dad here. So we're in our little protective bubble. And I'm just going to tell you what I get in my download. The pendulum's really slow. I'm finding the more I sit with this, the bigger these downloads are coming and what a lot of clarity. But I'll go back and I'll check and then we'll just go from there. Again, it's going to be interesting to see what I'm actually getting actually fits with the historical narrative that we can find. All right, so I'm getting that there is this blow up between Amelia and James. Now, Henderson by this time is an adult, so I feel like I keep hearing 20 early. He's like young. Henderson is young when this takes place. So 19, 20, 21, 18, 19, 20, 21, somewhere in there. This is where he's at. So during the course of, he sees his dad justifying his actions toward his mother, but he loves his mother and he loves his father. So he's really that child that's sort of split. But he does not like his father's actions, right? And he sees that, there's this sliding scale with James P. So he's a very nice guy. Everybody loves James. He puts forward this face, which is kind of ties in with the last video where I said a man of many faces. It's like brrr, like I'm almost getting shown cards and there's all these different faces. And so there's a man of many faces. And so when he's not drinking, he's not obnoxious. He's helpful. He a bit of a Larry Tate. Dad says to me, he's a bit of a Larry Tate. Um, but when he drinks, he'll take one drink, he's just relaxed. He takes a couple of drinks, he's just even more relaxed. But as he drinks, he begins to focus on every slight that has happened to him, and anger begins to bubble up. So if he gets just a little bit drunk, then he's just grumpy and grouchy and just not pleasant to be around. And you begin to see everybody starting to scurry away. Everybody kind of went to their own places. When he started drinking, everybody went and did their own thing because they know that, the slightest thing will set him off, right? The more he drinks. And so I feel that this event with Amelia, I feel like Amelia is trying to get, and I don't think she can take all the kids at once. I think it's onesies and twosies. And she tries to meet up with Hester and tries to have with the little ones to know their mother. It's so important for the little ones to know the mother. I think Amelia starts to think the older ones can sneak away on their own. This is to do with the little ones that were left when Hester was kicked out. And I think she got away with it for a little while, but then he figures it out. And by the time he figures it out, he's already half drunk and he gets really drunk. He turns into her and he confronts her with it. Amelia is like, yes, no child should be divided from their mother. This is wrong. She's crazy, da 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 da. All the verbal stuff starts, and then he just, I feel like this sounds sick, and I'm sorry to anybody who hears this. I feel like he rapes her. He beats the living shit out of her. and then he like basically falls on top of her drunk. And I feel like that's her enough button. I don't know how Henderson knows this, or if Dad's bringing it through, not sure. But that's the image that's coming in. And then she's like out of there. She's done. But I feel like she has enough compassion for Hester. She has to go tell Hester, I have to leave. I cannot stay here. I'm sorry. I cannot bring your children anymore. And there's a degree of begging on Hester's. If you leave, then I'll have no contact with my babies. And she's just like, I'm sorry, but at the same time, as desperate as Hester is, and she knows she's begging her to stay, she's also realizing in her mind that if she doesn't get out, she could end up dead herself. So she reins herself back in, and she knows she's completely defeated at that point. That's a real defeated point to her. And I feel like Henderson kind of swoops in. He sees the pain and anguish in her mother. He also sees Amelia before she goes. There is contact. Now, let me just go make sure. So far, Henderson, do I have this story accurate? I'm getting yes. Is there anything in the narrative that I just relayed that needs to be changed? No. So you are conveying that to me. Yes, sorry. Oh, my phone's blowing up. All right. So that's I'm kind of feeling like that's the confirmation that what I just told you is sort of flowing out of me. So as I'm tuning in, this is the images that are hitting me. This is what I'm describing to you. So this is what is I'm being, getting out to you. He gets for the children that are left, he gets even more belligerent. I feel like the children, the little ones, are with other family, and he goes to find another wife. He's going to go find another wife. There's two crazy people together. Um, the Larry Tate kicks in. Dad says Larry Tate kicks in, and that she just had a mental breakdown. He just doesn't know what's wrong with these women that he ends up marrying. They're all, crazy. Um, at any rate, he's out and about, and I don't know how he ends up with Sarah Mock. I don't know. I know what I'm getting. The images I'm getting is that her husband, I thought was traveling like out of state, but I feel like he's just miles away. He's just a few miles away. He attacks her. He's already drunk when he shows up. He's drinking in this encounter. And I think, it's power, it's domination, it's sex, it's gross. It's just gross. Hmm. Now, when he is done, he basically staggers out and goes home to basically sleep it off. I feel like either he doesn't either get all the way home or he gets slightly home. I feel like it is after dark. And what I sense is that there are people coming. And those people coming is um, Sarah's husband. But I feel like there's more people coming. All right, Henderson, is that accurate? So what I just described is accurate? Okay, yes, yes, and yes. Is there any part of what I just said that needs to be retracted and redone? No. Okay, so the picture you're giving me in my head, and the one I'm talking about, is what happened. All right. I'm seeing that Sarah's husband, who's come home and found his wife beaten to a pulp and raped, he is going out and he's got other people. How many men does he have with him? Is it just him? No. So there, okay. Show me how many people are with Sarah's husband when he goes to confront James P. Okay, so there are two other people, so three total. Is that right? Three total show up at the farm of James P. Is this correct? Is James P. laying in a drunken heap on the ground outside of his cabin or home or whatever he's got built there? Yeah, so okay, and it's nighttime and they're coming. They're coming for him. He is so drunk and so passed out. And I feel I can see the image in my head that her husband just picks him up and just starts beating him. He's so drunk he doesn't even feel it. And so the next image I have are these two guys pulling him off, but he is so angry. He's trying to pull away and beat him. But the guy, he's not even responding. James P is just like, just not even getting it. Being beat to a pulp, probably not even feeling it. And these two guys pull him off and say, he's not worth being hanged for because he could kill him. And when they're pulling him off, I see tears just streaming down his face. My wife is violated, and just name calling and just this agony. And I feel his friends stay with him. They stay with him for a while because they're concerned he's going to go back and try to kill him. And they keep reminding him, he is not worth it. Unless you're going to do yourself in, you're going to be hanged. Somebody's got to take care of her. Remember your wife. And then she finds out she's pregnant. And the whole time she's carrying the baby, I'm being made feel like she just wanted it to be gone, just gone. It's a constant reminder of that moment. And it was so ugly and so filthy. And again, I don't know why she doesn't try to abort it, or I don't know why. They did do that in those days, and yet she doesn't do it. So, okay, so I'm being told the reason is because she was a pious woman. Is this true? Yes, she was a pious woman, but oh, okay, so this is the image I'm getting. So far, do I have it right? Is there any part of the story what I just told that needs to be removed and restated? No. Who knows if I'm making this shit up in my own head? But it is interesting because it is coming through in a different way. So as it's coming through, it's like it's just kind of giving me a movie. And I'm like, I have my popcorn. It's a movie playing out in my head. All right, so all right. They decide together that and I feel like this is coming in from somebody else. It's like one of the guys that held him back. Wouldn't it be better, so says friend, to Sarah's husband, to make this public? Death is too good for him, and public shaming is the best thing for him. I feel like she claims in church she was violated by that man there. And she is pregnant. She's going to have a baby, and it's his. I did not want it. He attacked me, and I am here to tell you that man is filth. This is the moment Henderson gives me that he went from what love he had for his father to just dislike. All right. So do I have that? Yes. All right. Is this the moment that shifts you from seeing what's good in your father to seeing all the ugly that your father can do? Okay. So she carries this baby to term. She feels like it's the devil's spawn. Yes. She feels like it's the devil's spawn. She gives birth to it. There is a go-between. So one of these guys, what I feel like I'm being shown is that one of these guys that was pulling him back acts as a go-between. And they have all decided it is way better. So to some degree, James Brown knew she was pregnant. He was being humiliated by it. I feel like there was a shunning, but I feel like some of the men did not shun him. The wives definitely, but I feel like the segment of some of the men were like, what did you do so wrong? Everybody does it. Sort of that kind of ick going on. That's kind of disgusting, but I feel little slithery snakes like that. I don't think they all did it, but I feel like there were some that just kind of gave him, okay, we sort of get it. You had a crazy wife, you had a bad day, this happened, and he was blaming it was the spirits. That doesn't mean you need to condemn a man for life. And that's what I'm getting from that side. So they bring the baby in during church service. This is the devil's spawn, essentially. And they hand it to James P. There you go. This is what you get. And so James is in the church. He's actually got the nerve to go to church after all of this. Yes, of course, because of it was just the booze. It was just the booze. He wasn't responsible. It was the booze that made him do it. Like Lori's little t-shirt that she had, the devil made me do it. And that's where he's at. He's like, the devil made me do it. So he's showing everybody. He's there to show people. He is there to show people. Look at me. I had a bad moment. I think through that whole period of her being pregnant, I think he's going to show everybody, it was the spirits and he's going to do better and just look at me. And the Larry Tate in him comes in and gives him a narrative that gives him a pass to these other people in the community, not the women. They're not fooled, but the men are, and the men are the ones in control. But John sees it. I feel John is a little bit, he sees it, he finds it disgusting, but he's kind of like, yeah, but this has always been dad, and yes, it's disgusting. He's a little bit more on the fence. I hear John Jack. He's a little bit more on the fence than Henderson. Henderson is like, you treat my mother like crap. Amelia got treated like crap because I saw her. And now this is the point where he's like, I don't even know you. I don't even know you. All right. Is this so far right? Is this correct? Do I need to correct any of the narrative that I felt like you were giving me in my head? No. So this is the rest of the story you wanted to fill in. Okay, thank you. All right, so we're still on track. Go ahead and continue on. You've got more to tell. I feel it. I feel the urgency building. He goes and he gets Mary. Because the little ones still need to be raised. And he's got to raise Lewis. Lewis is why Mary came. Is Lewis the reason why he went and got Mary? Were there other small children that still needed a mother around? Well, we all need somebody around to cook, is what I just heard. Somebody's got to do the cooking. All right, so, but Lewis, because he was an infant, that's why he ran and got Mary and brought Mary in. But I still feel like there's distance in time there. Like it didn't happen right away. Now I'm curious. All right, let me check. Let me pull up Ancestry and see what we got there because there's something that's not making sense to me, how I'm seeing it. I'm getting one thing, but I'm thinking something else. That's so frustrating when you think you've got something in your mind and you get something else out. Okay, so yeah, I don't know why there's a gap in time there. I don't know what that means. So Lewis is why Mary comes, and they need a cook. All right, did James P. and Mary Pickle have any biological children together? Can you tell me how many? So the answer to that is yes, they did have. How many children did they have? How many children did James P. and Mary Pickle have? One. Okay, are we assuming that child is Lewis? So Lewis is the child they quote had together. But everybody knew Sarah Mock was the mother, that she was the mother they brought in. It's the mother he knew. And did he die at Mary Pickle's farm? Yes. All right, so that's why I kept getting yes, that they had a child, but I still feel that Mary Pickle even found him a little disgusting. But I feel like she thought she could keep him from drinking and that he would not be as unkind. Now, did James P. back off the whiskey when he met Mary Pickle? Yes and no. So he backed off for a time, but then he went back to it. Did Mary Pickle and James P. have a happy marriage overall? No. Well, I guess it doesn't surprise me. So, is that event, that event that this culmination, treat mom, put her out 4 times, witnessed it, which is why he knew mom wasn't crazy. The treatment of Amelia, and then this Sarah and this public, here's your kid in the church. I think that's a point for Henderson where it's like, that's the reason that when he died, he got buried at Mount Zion. Let me just check. Now, somebody in the family has said that your father, James P. Henderson, is buried at Fawcett Cemetery. Is that true? No. Is he buried at Mount Zion? Yes. Did you put a grave marker on his grave? No. So I am getting that again. Is he buried next to Hester? Okay, so he's not buried next to Hester. Okay, when I walk through the Mount Zion Cemetery, through the middle gate, and I want to walk over to James P. Brown's grave, where he's buried. No, you're not going to tell me where he's buried? No, he needs to be forgotten too. Okay, so if you're going to call yourself a pious Christian man, Henderson, you're going to have to get over that and forgive. All right, Dad, you've got access to the infinite mind, the Akashic records, the infinite computer. All right, Dad, do you know where James P. Brown is buried? Is he buried at Mount Zion? All right, so if his body's buried at Mount Zion, I'm walking through the front gate at Mount Zion. This just goes totally straight. All right, Dad, I walk in. All right, Henderson, you're going to have to back your energy away and let Dad come through. He's sort of blocking. It's okay. Look, we're going to fix it all. Your mother and everybody's going to have their voice, and we're going to fix this. We're going to do our best to fix it. All right. Thank you for unfreezing the pendulum. Now, Dad, go ahead. I walk into Mount Zion Cemetery. Is James P. Brown buried close to the road? Is he in the back to the left? Is he in the back of the cemetery? And then slightly to the left? No. Is he in the back of the cemetery, almost straight back from the gate? Is he in the back of the cemetery? Okay. Is he in the back of the cemetery to the right? Okay. Is he next to Hester Ann Helms? No. Does he have a headstone? Did anybody ever put a headstone on his grave to mark where he was? So he is buried without a headstone. Well, I guess that explains why we're not going to find him. We know he's out there. She's kind of back and to the right too. So I was like, are you sure you're not buried together? But that's what I'm getting. Okay, that kind of fills in the blanks. Is there anything else at this time, Henderson, that you would like to tell us? Okay, so we are going to help your mom. And we're going to be coming back to you later when it gets warmer outside. And we're going to get prods and we're going to try to find her headstone. And when we find her headstone, we're going to restore her grave. So we're going to restore her voice, her presence in the family, and we're going to restore a proper place in a proper burial for her. James did not win the game of erasing her. He did not win. So show a little compassion. And I know it's hard, but we'll get to it. Thank you, Henderson, for coming forward. Thank you very much. Dad, thank you very much for your help. I'm going to go ahead and end the Henderson, and I'll see if we need anybody else that wants to come forward. But for now, we'll go ahead and stop this one. Interesting story.